Hi everybody, this is Maha Musa, independent childbirth educator, birth activist, preserver of mother's instinct for birth, and founder of EmbodyBirth since 1997. And today I'd like to read to you one of my blogs that I wrote in the last few months, and this is a live reading because I know people often don't read blogs anymore, so I wanted to start to read each one of my blogs to you. So this one is called A Birth Secret. Women aren't meant to give birth on their backs. Women aren't meant to give birth on their backs. It is just not nature's calling. Throughout the ages and throughout the world, women have moved and swayed and squatted and danced through their labour. In the Middle Eastern culture that I come from, that movement was coined by the West as belly dancing. So in my work, I have adapted it in childbirth to become a sensual dance that helps the birthing mother move in a way that opens her body, connects to her baby, opens her emotional world to the enormous changes that are about to occur. If her body is loose and present, and especially if there is a sensual, raw, wild feeling throughout the labour, her birthing muscles will just open like a flower, and the powerful hormone cocktail that floods the system, that is the endorphins and the oxytocin, which is free of adrenaline in the first stage of labour, which can slow down the labour, will be activated. The fluid movements feel wonderful throughout pregnancy, and the belly dance birth techniques I teach in my EmbodyBirth classes, and now my teachers are teaching, and through my book and my DVD Dance of the Womb, physically help to ease lower back, hip and leg pains that are so common during pregnancy, whilst at the same time toning birthing muscles. It also makes a mother feel good about her changing body. So when we are gently conditioning the body, the physical body, as well as the emotional and energetic body, we are conditioning the ligaments, the joints, the pelvis in a natural way, not in a forced way. And this is what's very important about this work. We're not putting women into their heads to birth. We're bringing women down into their bodies to connect with their babies. So the best belly dance birth movements for labour are the hip circles, the figure 8 movement, the rocking and swaying of the hips, the pelvic spirals, and also we can incorporate walking, so these upright mobile positions. And sometimes when we're feeling tired, we can sit on a birthing ball as well and do these movements. In fact, we can even lie on our back and gently circle our pelvis if we need to rest. And we can also be lying on our side. But the thing is to women to find the best positions for them without needing to be told. So if you can practice these during pregnancy, they will come to you when you enter into labour. So the movements will be imprinted through activating the womb wisdom that is in you. So your greatest liberation is when the contractions begin, or what I like to call expansions, is that you won't have to think about what you're doing, but you'll be allowing your birthing body in all its primordial knowledge to naturally assume the different positions that are required to ease your baby into the world. Now it is this instinctual knowing, aided with the practice of the dance movements during pregnancy, that will help you to eliminate birth fear. This is what gives you your own autonomy for birth without relying on someone else. So it inspires you to become active in your birth experience. So you are confronting, expressing, and moving through every nuance that arises. And that is the physical nuances that are in the body that are coming up and also the emotional. So you are meeting and greeting everything that is happening within your body. And in knowing that you have this ability to be autonomous and to be in your power for birth, that is what will help to reduce fear. So birth is in your hands, your heart, and your womb, as it is in your baby's hands, heart, and womb with you. This is a dance of mother and baby together for birthing. So the main mantras that I always share with women who strive towards a conscious birth experience is, and we hear this a lot, your body knows what to do in birth, so allow it and trust it. So the movements of the belly dance birth allow you to embody that mantra. So circling, swaying, moving and rocking all help in the rotation and the descent of the baby into the pelvic cavity, whilst massaging the baby's head or bag of waters down onto your cervix. And this activation on the cervix is what will help to thin and dilate the cervix. So again, being in these active, upright, mobile positions, if that is where you feel to move to, will aid the rhythms of birthing. If the circle doesn't feel right, you may try the figure 8, or just rock your hips from side to side, forward and backwards, embracing these contractions or these expansions. And again, trusting that your body knows what to do. Changing positions in an upright stance also ensures a continuous blood flow to your baby, as opposed to lying on your back. When we lie on our back, we've talked about this before, we reduce the space in the pelvis. So we want to be up and upright as much as we can, leaning forward, which will open those hip bones and the pelvis to give us about 35% more room, which is wonderful. So it will also help to reduce the length of labor. Any positions where the body is in a forward leaning stance, and that will include squatting. But remember, with squatting, you want to be careful with squatting if the baby is not in a good position, if the baby is posterior or breech. Deep squats will actually push that baby further down into the pelvis. So we don't want that. We want the baby lifted up in order to be moving. So it's better just to be in upright, moving, circular and spiraling positions, and being in forward positions as well if baby's in posterior. So increasing the pelvic outlet, lifting up the coccyx, opening up the sacrum will help to give your baby more room. And again, you can use a ball or you can be in water. And again, reclining positions, on the other hand, can narrow and close the space of the pelvis, especially the pelvic outlet. Once you get past those ischial spines, well, then the baby is usually getting into a good position. So these movements are the first stage movements of labor. So again, when the contractions, that is the expansions, start, there's no need to panic. Breath, sound, movement, leaning forward, draping yourself over a partner, using a birthing ball, a wall, a chair, a circle, and spiral those hips. So then you are dancing that baby out without resistance. And you may even find, and this is another secret, that birth might be enjoyable too. So we want you to enjoy that birth experience, because at its core, it is a rite of passage, a transformation into becoming woman. This is what activates your mothering knowledge, is going through this process, following and being guided by your instincts. Birth could be the most incredible day of your life. And it is just as natural to your body as breathing. So that is my blog on women not being birthing on their back as a secret, and why. And I think, as people know my work and women who've come and learned with me, is we have complicated birth to such a degree, and put women so in their intellect and into their head that they have forgotten their body. We cut off the head from the heart, the womb, and the rest of the body. And embodied birth is not about cutting off the head. It is about, yes, engaging the intellect, but also balancing that up with the physical and the emotional and the wisdom of the body. And I see, programs where women are instructed in a way that's very, very intellectual with all the techniques of birth. And what I find is that when we get into our head too much for birth, our body will tense up. Our body can't move when we're wondering, am I doing it right? Do I need permission? Tell me what to do. So, and some women need that. I'm not saying that. Some women need to be told what to do. And women need to know that everything is inside of you for birth. And so, spiraling out from that place of, I know, the innate wisdom of my body knows. This doesn't feel right. Move into a new position. That person doesn't feel right in my birth environment. Please leave. Remember, you have a voice in birth. You have a voice. Listen to that voice. Speak up. Say yes, say no, say I don't know. But I want pregnant women in birth to know that you have a voice. And in a funny kind of way, your vagina becomes your voice, because we know that the throat and the vagina are connected. The lips and the cervix are connected. The jaw and the pelvis are connected. So, our voice is spoken through our womb space, through our pelvis. And that is why we have to engage deep down with our baby. Now, often we forget that I'm birthing a baby. I'm birthing a soul. I'm birthing a life. The life force in me and the life force of my baby. We are dancing and birthing together. Yes, Sam, loose lips don't just sink ships. Exactly, but facilitate birth. And that's in our EmbodyBirth program, when we showing women these movements and then getting women to do these beautiful movements in pregnancy as a childbirth preparation. We really focus on what's happening in the lips, what's happening in the jaw. And I have a lovely exercise that I do with women where we really clench the jaw and then we try to circle our hips. And it's amazing. The women can't move their hips when their jaws are so tight. And as people also know, I talk to birth professionals and say, well, are you tight in your jaw? Are your lips pursed? Is your voice thwarted as you are assisting with a pregnant woman? So if you as a birth professional are not comfortable in your body, your feminine body, okay, the feminine body is engaged through the heart and the womb. The thinking and the intellect is important, but when we are moving through a somatic process, a feminine experience that is birth, we need to start speaking that language and embodying that language within our body. Okay? We're not men assisting women in birth. And we have to be very aware of that, because sometimes the system puts midwives and doulas and women assisting women into that place of being masculine, holding, being in charge, being intellectual, knowing everything, graphs, numbers, times, impatience. The feminine is flow, intuition, softness, gentleness, openness, patience. Are we able to be those things within our own body? Are we able to access the sensuality of our own body? This is what we need to ask ourselves as birth professionals. And I've been teaching dance for birth for 20 years now, and for me, that is the way that I get into my sensual feminine body. And I've birthed 3 babies, 2 at home, the last at 46. The way I could do that was because I really got in touch with my heart and my womb to tap in to that feminine knowledge for birth, that inner knowing, that map of birth that is in every woman. I want to say to the young girls who are birthing now, who are birthing with so much fear, play a beautiful piece of music, dance with your baby, connect to your womb wisdom. We need to come back to the basics of birth. And that is bringing birth back to the women and their babies. And holding them in that place, gently, warmly, patiently, with a breath, being an allowance. Allowing a mother in labour to find her mothering path, to find her way without constant interference into that, and severing her from her mothering instinct. And I've decided from this week on, I've been posting mothering instinct posts. I am standing for mother's instinct. I am preserving mother's instinct in my work. I am no longer allowing mother's instinct to be defiled, to be vilified, to be attacked. The tiger in me is sharing that tiger. So you find the tiger in you and say no more to abuse in birth. Let women do it their way. Don't be afraid to speak the truth, even in the system, when everything is coming down on you. Give women these reminders: breath, sound, movement, autonomy, patience, love, gentleness. This is how we find our mother's instinct for birthing. Not by being bullied, not by being abused, not by being violated. Let mothers find their birthing way. So thank you for coming today and listening to my live blog, which became my rant about birth and preserving and upholding mother's instinct for humanity, so we can gift humanity with the beauty that is birth. Namaste. Much love.